Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I just watched Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 8, All In. It was not the best episode. And not for the usual reasons like canon violations and fanciful technology and that. This one was a combination of boring and frustrating. Now, the episode starts off with the Discovery crew just sort of trying to work out what Book's going to do, where's he going to go. And he is basically trying to find, what is it? Isolinium. So because of his courier days, he knows a whole bunch of out-of-the-way places that no one else would go to. And of course, because Michael lived with him for a year, she is able to find him. They go to some random planet. And this is where you see, it's not Book's ship, it's a shuttle that is actually flying towards this giant sea monster, which turns out to be a hologram hiding a sort of base, which is where all these traders and smugglers go. Now, Michael has taken, I'm just going to call her Oh Wow, because I can't pronounce her last name, and that's sort of her wrestling name in this episode. And they're just chatting and that, and she's apologising for overstepping her bounds in the past, and I'm like, well, I can see where you learnt it from, that's your commander. They go in, and of course, Book is there. They go to some guy they know, some trader, and of course he's got the, what is it again? The isolinium, but he doesn't have money, and he's trading, doing something to get it off this guy. They've got a deal. And then Michael shows up, and she just talks to Book, and it's like, this guy is a terrorist who just stole your spore drive from your ship, and he's trying to buy, what's it called again? Isolinium, to use in a giant weapon to attack an incredibly powerful race who you should be making first contact with, who could destroy the whole universe if you annoy it. And they're just chatting, and she just lets him go, and I'm like, what? So then they need more money because they don't have enough platinum, to buy this isolinium. I'm not going to remember the name. So they look around and they find basically a guy to fight for money. And of course, Oh Wow plays it up for a while and gets knocked down for a couple of rounds, and they manage to get the bets to 45-1, and then of course she kicks his butt and wins. Now she does get a cut and she does get knocked around a bit at first, but that looks like just an act. So they win, they've got enough dilithium, and another two players get in to not into the ring, but into the game, or into trying to get the isolinium, and they end up having a secondary card game to decide who wins. And of course, Michael knew Book would win, so she actually, I shouldn't say this now, but she does do something, but she just loses to him, and she just lets him go with it, and I'm like, what the hell? How is she letting him walk out with this bomb, basically? And I mean, this is the woman who knocked out her own captain and started a war with the Klingons, and she can't smack her boyfriend up back of the head and snatch his isolinium? I'm like, what? Now, granted, she put a tracking device on it, and they know where his ship is, but that doesn't really get it back. Now, they've sort of got one chance at getting it back because he doesn't know that they know, but if he didn't work that out for himself, but I guess, would he know that she had access to it for a minute while the trader guy had his head turned? I don't know. But, so she ends up going back to the ship. Now, the only scene outside of this whole scenario is one random scene where Dr. Damn it, I've forgotten his name. I want to say Dr. Ricky because that's what people call him. Either way, he is torturing himself because he didn't help Book and he didn't take care of his emotional health, and that's why he ended up taking this drastic step and running off and all that. So he's blaming himself, and albino kid, I can remember his Twitter name. Basically, is telling him that he's putting too much expectation on himself. No one can maintain the mental health of an entire crew. People basically essentially make their own decisions, and you can only do so much for them. Now, during all this, he's cleaning the cabin like a crazy person, and then he starts yelling at a droid, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Why is he yelling at the droid? What sort of a man yells at a droid? And then when they leave, the droid finishes cleaning up, and I'm like, he looks upset. Are these not sentient yet? Are we going to have that story eventually, like the way they use them and that? So I saw something there, but this is the only scene outside of the rest of the story. It does seem very isolated and out of place. Now we go back to Starfleet Command, I guess we're going to call it, because the Admiral actually asked Burnham to do this. He actually said, just go and get it. And even though she was in an area where she had no jurisdiction, she didn't do that. I mean, I know she planted the tracking device, but she should have gone all Burnham on him like the old days where she just did whatever she wanted and didn't care about Starfleet regulations or anything and just did what she wanted. Instead, suddenly it was just really unbelievable. Like, I really, there's no way you would let what is essentially now a terrorist walk out with a bomb. So I just found the whole episode implausible, and I did literally fall asleep for a couple of hours during it. Now, I do have insomnia and sleep deprivation, so it might have had something to do with that. But I did literally, about 15 minutes in, go and lay down for 2 hours, and then I got back up and watched the rest of the episode. The card game part was kind of... Sonequa did an okay job of sort of downplaying things and sort of playing with him a little bit and pointing out his tells and stuff like that. But it did seem a little not comedic, but the episode just didn't work on many levels. And there weren't a lot of effects. We had that sort of one scene where you see the ship flying into the atmosphere and down onto the ocean and then dodged this giant sea dragon monster that turns into a space station, but that was kind of the only effect in the whole episode. I mean, I missed the old establishing shots when after the ad breaks you'd have a shot of the Enterprise or the planet or wherever they were. We didn't get a lot in this episode, so it was kind of a bottle show. They had the one set where they had the ring and the room where they had played the card games and everything, and like the cabins, they just had tiny little windows that you couldn't really see out of because they were too small, and just they had backlighting, and that's it. So no space, no green screen windows or anything like that, or rear projection or anything. Just basically lighting through small glass windows. And we saw a little bit of the Starfleet set that we usually see, but aside from one ship outside of a window, there wasn't a lot in this episode, and I didn't really find the situation plausible. I just don't believe that they would just go in and just have a nice polite card game and let this guy walk out with the means to attack this all-powerful race that is their threat. Now, the only other thing they did was they did establish that the DMA is not a weapon. It is basically a dredge. Basically, it's part of a mining device. So they're going around and they're mining bornite, which is incredibly powerful, and they're probably using in actual weapons, because they find this giant space, what they call it a hyperfield, which was 228 million kilometers big, and I wasn't sure if that's what they were actually using as the dredge, or if that is what they're powering with what they're taking from dredging. I wasn't entirely clear, but the point is they weren't attacking Starfleet directly. It was part of a process of something else they're doing, which probably has very little to do with Starfleet, and the planets are probably collateral damage in their little game. So not sure where they're going with that. So this season villain is still sort of unraveling, and we've got another 6 episodes or so to go, I think. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Not the best episode. They could have had a bit more fun with it, and I didn't really think the situation and the solution was really realistic. But that's it. I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.